You, Michael. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Michael. And, first of all, I just want to say thank you to Jessica and the organizers of this event. It's such a great event, and we appreciate to be part of it. And also want to recognize the team in Mexico that's doing all the hard work to make all this possible here. So I'll be making forward-looking statements. I'm going to pass out a test after this on this, so please review in earnest. Our vision is to become one of the world's largest single-asset silver primary producers through exploration and development of the Pánuco district in Mexico. We have a unique company here where we've actually gone from, we've consolidated a district for the very first time, and we've actually made a discovery, and now we're taking this discovery through what's become one of the world's largest high-grade undeveloped silver assets into the next phases here, which is development. But it's really been an incredible timeline, a very short timeline, where we performed very well and generated a huge amount of metal here at this project. A couple of highlights on this timeline here as well. We've achieved 1 million man-hours of LTI-free work in November of 2022. Our second resource in January of this year, 105 million ounces in indicated, 114 in inferred. And moving on here into the updated resource and PEA in 2024. So the question is, why would we go from advanced exploration into de-risking into the development stage? And if we look at our peers, Silvercrest and MEG, who have done this very successfully in the recent history here, they had this initial exuberance over discovery, which Vizsla certainly had. We went from a 15-cent IPO to over $3.50 on the back of successful discovery in a really nice market, an excellent market. But you can see how post that discovery exuberance, Silvercrest and MEG Silver both have generated a lot of value for shareholders by de-risking, growing, and developing their assets, moving towards production. So the next phase for Vizsla is exactly that, and we believe that's going to return a lot of value for shareholders. So Vizsla has multiple near-term catalysts, 90,000 meters of ongoing drilling this year, 2023. We're updating our resource and moving into economics in 2024. And that's building on what Michael Gray from Agentis has called the world's largest undeveloped high-grade silver resource. We still have significant discovery potential. Pánuco certainly has billion-ounce potential. It's very similar to San Dimas, which is 80 kilometers up the road, and we've only tested 43 out of 160 identified targets so far. And our resource sits on less than 10% of the known veins. There's many veins running through this property that we haven't even had a chance to visit yet. And we have an expedited pathway through production, and the project has excellent access. It's near a major infrastructure. Centuries of historic small-scale production in the district will likely aid in our development. And as we do this, we'll rely on our strong in-house technical team and our board. I see Craig Perry, our chairman, in the back of the room here. He's built mines in Far Eastern Russia, a very difficult place to build a mine. But we're also supported by Simon Smirlik, who's likely built more mines than most of us have visited through his role running Osenko Engineering. And we're well-financed, well-funded, with more than $35 million in cash. We have zero debt, strong shareholder base, and insiders continue to buy the stock. So our project, in real estate, it's the same way as it is in mining, location, location, location. We are in Mexico. Mexico produces the world's top amount of silver, the most silver in the world. And we're on the Silver Highway here, which very close to San Dimas, only 80 kilometers away. We're 100% owned. As you recall, we consolidated this district for the first time in modern history. Before that, there was disparate ownership, fragmented ownership, and we went in 2019 and consolidated this district. We have a district scale. This land package has never been systematically explored. We have access to infrastructure. If we all wanted to go to this project, head to our Denver airport, get on a plane to Mexico City, short flight from Mexico City to Mazatlan. And from Mazatlan, we would just take a bus an hour up the road, a Sprinter van an hour up the road, and we'd be right on Copala and Napoleon. It's extremely accessible. After that, we'd be back at the beach for dinner. So it's a very accessible project. Because of that, it lowers the cost of our exploration and will likely lower the cost of development in the future. And we are aggressively exploring this project with 90,000 meters this year. The scale of the project is of note. You can see here the island of Manhattan up top here, superimposed over the project. we've barely scratched the surface here, it feels like, in exploration. Really, the focus, the western center of mass that we have represents such a small portion of the overall veins, 10% of the overall veins. But again, scale is so important here. This is a huge district. So our resource in the indicated category at a grade of 437 grams silver equivalent, we have 105 million ounces. In inferred, closer to half a kilo, 491 grams, we have 115 million ounces. And, these numbers, I think, sometimes get lost with investors over a certain threshold in silver. So I think it's helpful, to compare this to what this would be like in gold terms to give people a frame of reference. In indicated, it's 1.4 million ounces of gold at just about 6 grams gold equivalent. In inferred, it's 1.5 million ounces at just about 6.5 grams gold equivalent. Now, this is growing. This is our January resource. It continues to grow. The breakdown is essentially 60-40 silver gold. Now, we are discovering silver equivalent ounces for about 19 cents an ounce. Very, very capital efficient discovery here. When we look at the size, the grade, and the scale, we stack up very favorably to our peers like Juanicipio and Las Chispas. You can see we actually eclipse Silvercrest's size there. Second is Silvercrest in mag and grade, but that grade, I think will continue to improve as well. Now we have the center of mass in the west, which I've highlighted already, but this is a visual demonstration of it. So far, the majority of our resources sit within a 4-kilometer radius. Further exploration upside exists outside of the center of mass, but certainly within the center of mass. And I think we'll have some news from that untested area in the coming future here. The center of mass will likely be the focus area for further development for Vizsla, this area in the west here. And, the star of the show of this center of mass is Copala. Copala has just become a mile long. It's thick, it's high grade, and it's still growing. It grows along strike. It's open along strike. It's open in every direction, and it basically starts from surface. So, a mile-long structure of silver, is excellent. And, Mexico, there has been issues, of course, with underground mining of narrow veins in Mexico, and I think the antidote to issues of narrow vein underground mining in Mexico is actually thick veins, and we have that here in spades. We have a 10-meter thick vein. Another way to say that is that this is a mile of high-grade silver that's 30 meters wide. Copala is a beast, and it continues to grow. Incrementally, we're expanding mineralization with 50 and 100 meter step outs. We're drilling to the north, 400 meters beyond the current resource here. So Copala, again, really the star of the show, a monster in the making, continues to grow, will likely be the center of our first development here at the project. Cristiano, adjacent to Copala, likely we'll get to Cristiano as we develop into Copala, but the grades here are spectacular. I neglected to mention here the average grades of Copala are well over half a kilo. Cristiano in the inferred category is actually closer to a kilo and over 900 grams silver equivalent. Very high grade, all concentrated in this area around Copala. Napoleon, which was where we made our initial discovery, continues to grow. We love Napoleon. It represents about 40 million ounces in indicated, 30 million ounces in inferred. It's still going to grow. We're having a lot of success drilling to the west here. But we found something that could be potentially, well, we'll see if it's Napoleon's bigger brother or little brother, but certainly a brother. It looks very similar to Napoleon in the west here, about 700 meters to the west of Napoleon. We put some news out on this earlier this week, and the stock reacted favorably. We've now traced this structure for about 700 meters in terms of strike. We put out, the headline hole was over 11 meters at 750 grams silver equivalent. La Luisa has been a fantastic discovery made by really strong science from Jesus Velador and the team there at the project. So, we just spent the presentation so far talking about the west here, but the district itself, it's enormous. It's going to take us a lot of time to really understand what the potential is here. We've had some people that were involved in San Dimas at the project, and their comments are that this looks very, very similar. And again, San Dimas, the cash flow engine that built Goldcorp, the stream that built Silver Wheaton, these are very long-lived, very valuable districts. we've had a lot of success in the west, but I suspect that in the future there's going to be multiple centers of mass throughout. There could be one up by Animas, San Antonio, and then certainly to the east where Prismo and Dr. Peter McGaw's company is drilling currently here on our behalf. So we're very excited about the district potential here. The technical committee is doing a lot of great work here as well. Now, Vizsla Silver, the Vizsla Silver way, what that means is that we focus on safety first and foremost. So we have over 1.5 million hours of LTI-free work. We have excellent community agreements, operating agreements with the ejidos, and we'll be working towards our baseline study, sustainability study towards the end of this year here. But, Vizsla is very much focused on community, safety, and doing things the right way. So what we've achieved, we've generated a very large, high-grade resource centered on the western portion of the district. We've had high metallurgical recoveries for Napoleon, Tajitos, and Copala. We own 100% of the project. We've completed over 300,000 meters of capital-efficient drilling. What we're doing right now, again, we're working towards that resource. So we're doing resource conversion and expansion drilling at Copala, Napoleon, La Luisa. Ongoing improvements to metallurgical testings despite the high recoveries. And geotech, hydrological baseline, all of this is working and feeding towards not only that updated project resource in early 2024, but a complementary PEA in 2024 as well. And again, we're looking to capture that value of de-risking and demonstrating that this is a developable asset in Mexico. So, I'll just point out here we have about $37 million in cash. Excellent. We want to say thank you to all the analysts that cover us here. Great universe of coverage, all with the consensus buy, all 100% or more north of the share price that we see here today. They're like, the analysts are like us. We continue to buy the stock, insiders buy the stock, and we have very strong institutional shareholders, Sprott, For-Sale, Franklin, Fidelity, Extract, very, very proud of our shareholder base. And I think that we're all shareholders because we believe in this re-rating potential here. We look at what's possible when you look at our peers like Meg and Silvercrest trading around $5 EV per ounce. Today we're trading about 80-90 cents EV per ounce. There's a 5x return there as you de-risk and move up to that stage based on what we look at here in terms of our comps. Now I'm confident that with our ownership 100% of the project, the destiny that we hold in our own hands in the sense that we own this project 100%. It's a massive district that's never been explored systematically. We have the makings of a very serious development asset in the west. As we continue here, I expect Vizsla to move to the right-hand side of this bottom chart here and create a lot of value for shareholders. So I was just joking about the tests. There won't be any tests here, but there's another disclaimer which is available on our website.
Thanks, Michael. Any questions in the room? If not, just another quick one from me. When we're looking at the PEA, can you give us a bit of a preview on what we should be expecting? Are you looking to incorporate Copala, Napoleon, everything that's in the resource now? And how are you thinking about setting that up without limiting yourselves too much?
Well, I think that's a very important note here. If we do find another Copala, which of course we're looking for, and the potential is very real to find another Copala in the west, if we'd have published a PEA by that point, we would certainly update economics to include, the potential of 100 million ounces or more, from a new discovery. So I think a PEA is a really great way to picture what's possible with the project at a moment in time. But I think the important takeaways from any future PEA will be, is this an achievable CapEx for a company of our size? And that's important for us. But we're also not aiming to just do a PEA that's right-sized for us or right-sized for a major. We're trying to do right by the project, and I think that's going to be the important outcome there for the PEA.
Great. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you.